Give it up for Marsha, everybody. Yeah, let her hear it. It's amazing. I guess backstory about me, just you kind of might need to know this. I have kids. Oh, they're so annoying. I have 5 kids. Why? It's so scary. Very scary. You guys, I'm not even a storyteller. I just need an excuse to leave the house, you know? When you need those excuses, I'm like, Mama's gotta go to Toronto, there's a bar. I need to talk to some people. I know it's a lot of children, I know, but you don't understand, okay? Canadian maternity leave is so addictive. Am I right, ladies? Am I right? 1 year off with pay, I couldn't stop. Then the kids start talking, you're like, oh, it wasn't worth the money. It's one thing. It's frightening. It's just like, I'm a mom. I'm also a nurse. Oh my God. Why are we applauding? Okay, fine. I'll take the love. I'll take it. No, don't do that. It's just being a nurse. I don't know. I feel like I chose the wrong profession. Because being a nurse and a mom, that means I'm constantly taking care of people 24/7. And it makes me, I don't hate people, but I just say it in my head just because, you know, it helps me survive. And I kind of hate people. They're so annoying. Always asking me stuff, you know, like I'll go to work. Old people are like, water! And I'm like, ugh. Why do you need water? Juice! I shit my pants! I can't breathe. And I'm like, I'm on break, you know what I'm saying? Then I come home and the kids are like, water! Juice! I shit my pants! And I'm like, you're 19, get out of the house! Why are you here? And it's just hard. Like, I've been a nurse for 20 years. Oh my God. It's too long. I've seen too much. Like, I've just noticed, I've seen way too much. I just noticed this though from my 20 years of nursing that people are getting older nowadays, right? Like, people didn't last so long before. It's the medication. Like, I taken care of somebody who was 114 years old. Isn't that amazing? But I work so many night shifts. I'm tired all the time. Like, you don't understand. I come in for a night shift, right? I don't want to do any paperwork. I just want to chill. And at that age, these old people are always, you know, trying to take their last breath during my shifts. I'm just like, why? You are 114, it's an 8-hour shift. Why you gotta die on my shift, you know what I'm saying? I just come to chill. Like, I punch in, all they hear is, oh! I'm like, calm down. Trying to go to Tim Hortons here, you know what I'm saying? You know, but I try, you know, I like to keep these old people alive, at least for my shift, you know what I'm saying? Makes it easy for me, like I just come in a beat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, hey, I'm your nurse. And they're just like, I just want to die. I'm like, not during my shift, I don't think so. I like turn up the oxygen and shit. I'm like, tonight we live, tonight. Oxygen's blowing in their face. They're just like, ah. So awake now. But it's crazy. I remember when I first started nursing, I always think about all the time when I first started, all the things that you actually learn on the job. But I'm kind of annoyed about this. I'm kind of annoyed that in nursing school, they never talk about death. They never talk about death. They always talk about, you know, preventing people from dying, which I guess is important. And all the things you need, like to assess people's systems. But what about dead people? I see that shit all the time. And there's things that that if they taught me this, it would have helped me in my career. especially really stupid experiences that I've had that made me want to quit. I would have never had them if they just at least told me things. You know, like one thing I wish they told me, and I did not know this, I did not know you cannot close somebody's eyes with your fingers when they die. I didn't know that. They always do that shit in movies. They're always like, he's now resting in peace. And they close their eyes. That's not true. I didn't know I'd have a weird experience where I needed to know the truth about that shit. You know what I mean? It's not fair. I remember when I was a new nurse, and this one guy died and I'd never seen this shit. Like, literally, he died with his eyes open. But not only his eyes, he died like this. He was like, I was like, oh my God. That scared the crap out of me. I'm like, yo, what did this guy see? It's like the devil came and said, it's time for you to go. And he's like, no! Like, that's when I knew there's an afterlife. I don't understand atheists. I'm like, why, you know? And it freaked me out. And back then, when I started nursing, we didn't wear masks, so I gotta be careful, like the expressions that I have on my face. And the family members came in to this guy who was like, and they're like crying, they're all sad, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going in that room, this is weird. And I'm like hoping they wouldn't call me, because I'm like, I can't avoid the stares of this man, this is too much for me. And they called me. There was like, I remember there was 8 of them. They're all crying around this guy. And they called me into the room. I'm like, oh no, trying to avoid the look of the dead man. And they asked me the craziest question. They're like, can you close his eyes? And I'm like, oh my God, like I was just thinking legit, like, I don't know if I can close his eyes, you know? Like, I'm just thinking like, where in the nursing books did I learn this? Nowhere, I was panicking. I'm like, this is actually an important thing that I think I should have learned. I was very upset. And I'm thinking about all the education I had, all the books that I skimmed through. I'm like, there's no topics in that. And back then, you know, you're new, people are crying, you want to help them. If that shit happened to me today, 20 years of nursing, I would have been like, excuse me, you better close your own damn eyes. I'm going on break. I don't know what the hell you want. No, I wouldn't do that today. But I was new, I wanted to help. So I was thinking about movies. They always do it in movies. Every time they're like, he's now resting in peace. I'm like, it's probably got to be an easy thing. So I was like, don't worry. I'll be able to help you. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was reaching in to this guy's eyeballs. And then I realized all 8 of them were staring at my fingers, and I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But I'm like, it's gotta work, and they do that every time in movies. They consulted professionals, I know it. Isn't that what people get hired to do when they want to be in the healthcare field? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But then I touched his eyelids, and I'm like, oh, gross, spongy eyeballs. I'm never gonna forget this. And I closed his eyelids. I'm like, okay. Everybody's still quiet. And when I let go, he went like this. And they were like, oh my God! And I was like, oh, this is the worst. Oh no, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, it's too early to bail. If I ever see these people in a grocery store, they're gonna remember me. Where are the eggs, lady? Right over there. Like, aren't you the lady who tried to close my grandpa's eyeballs? It was a mistake. The movies lied to me. Like, what am I supposed to do? It was too soon to bail. I felt like such an idiot. So this came out of my mouth. I didn't want to do it. I was like, let me try again. But in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? You need to quit after this shift. For sure, this is your last shift. I was okay with that. But then this time, I was reaching and I'm like, okay. But this time, I pressed the eyeballs down. I just pressed a little bit down. I'm like, whoa. And I want to look smart. They're like, why are you pressing his eyeballs? I'm like, sometimes you gotta push the eyeballs to the back of the brain. That's how I don't know, that's how they might stay when they die. When people die, their eyeballs sometimes wanna pop out, so you gotta push them back underneath the skull, preferably so they touch the brain, you know. brain receptors will tell those suckers to shut. I'm like, oh shit. But when I let go, he did it again. He's like, and they're like, oh my God. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, this only works in movies. And I walked out. I'm like, what the hell was that? I was so sad, and this nurse approached me. She watched the whole thing, loser. And she's like, you're an idiot. This is how you close somebody's eyes. And she showed me one time. She's like, you're supposed to take a wet cloth and then rub the face down. And I'm like, okay. So the next time somebody died with their eyes open, I took a wet cloth and I rubbed the face down just like what she taught me. I rubbed the face down. But then I started making different expressions on this guy's face. I'm like, oh no! Why are you smiling on one half of the face? You never had a stroke. The family's coming. Why are you laughing? It's confusing. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Started reading the Bible. I'm like, oh my God, this is not right. Yeah, that's the thing that also happened. Another crazy thing when I was new, that always used to happen a lot. Oh, we had to call, when people do pass away, we had to call family members when they did pass away in the nursing home. And when people reach, 90-ish, 100, most people don't care. And I didn't know this, It's always awkward conversations. I thought they would be sad conversations, like in the movie, and you're like, your grandpa died, and they'd be like, no! I thought it would be like that. I never forget, I called this one old lady, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Your husband, he passed away. She was like, what do you want me to do? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Catch a cab. Catch a cab. And I'm like, I'm so sorry I bothered you. Awkward. One time I called this Jamaican lady, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Your husband, he passed away. She was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you very much. I was like, Mom? Where's Dad? Thank you, guys. That's the end of my story. Let's bring up your host with the most.